Hi, this is Mariah Gullo from The Hollywood Reporter, and we're in studio today with Auli'i Cravalho and Damon Gillespie. And they are the stars of the new NBC show, Rise. Yay! Congratulations!
Yeah, thank you so much for talking with us today.
You want to talk to me a little bit about Rise, like just the basic plot?
Yeah, sure. Rise is about a normal working class town and normal students in that town who are sort of rising from their circumstances, so to say. They find that theater is an incredible way and an incredible community to kind of show their talents and show where they want to go in life. So they have an incredible teacher, Lou Mazzucchelli, and he kind of galvanizes the entire town. It's based on a true story written by Michael Sokolov, originally titled Drama High, and we're really thrilled.
Oh, very cool. And I assume that maybe both of you have some experience in musical theater from back when you were in high school. Did you both go to special music schools, or?
I did.
Yeah.
I went to a performing arts high school.
Uh-huh.
I started in middle school, and then in high school kept with it, and then ended up going to college for a couple of years for it too. So I definitely grew up in musical theater and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I tried. I loved theater. I loved to sing and stuff like that. And I would audition for things, but I would be that person in the middle of the theater and be like, I can't hear you. Can you talk louder? Like, I was that person. They didn't trust me with the lights. They were just like, why don't we just put you, like, someplace where they can't see you or can't hear you? I was like, okay. But...
Wardrobe?
I know. No, but I'm having kind of the last chuckle now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So how did you each get involved with the project personally?
Well, I was really lucky. I got the audition while I was here in LA for the 2016 Oscars, I believe it was. And I auditioned for it, and I remember thinking that I absolutely bombed it. But I did pretty well, I guess. And I sang, what did I sing? I sang House of the Rising Sun, and it was like the first time that I had like tried that kind of like soulfully feel, and I had loved reading about my character Lilette, and I gave it all I got, and thankfully it came my way.
Wonderful.
And I just needed a job. So, I got the audition after like 6 months of the dry spell, and then it came to me, and I was like, oh, great, I'll, another audition, why not? And I actually sang Blue Ain't Your Color by Keith Urban, but I also had to do like my own like rap in it. So I did a couple rounds of the audition. I was like, okay, whatever, it's fine. And then I was actually at work at Dunkin' Donuts when I got the call, and they were like,
amazing.
You're gonna screen test, and you got it. Like, I was like,
wow.
I'm sorry, what just happened? And so we were about to close up, and I grabbed every one of my coworkers and just like, they were like, you're only here for like 3 days, dude. Why are you doing this? I'm like, because I'm gonna be on a TV show. So, it was very insane.
Does an audition feel different when you get it? Like, do you feel it in the moment, or do you, go out of it going, oh, well, whatever, and then find out that you get it?
I felt like I sucked. I thought that I haven't auditioned for many things in life, so I thought that sucked. It was like one of the first that I had actually gone in for. Sometimes I do on tape because I'm from Hawaii and stuff, and there's no.
That's different.
Yeah, you can't go in like in Hawaii, but yeah, I beats me when I feel like I'm doing a good job. I don't get it, so I just gotta feel like I suck.
Exactly.
What do
at
you
all
feel?
times.
Right?
It depends. Like
Jesus.
with this one, I felt like I did really well, except for the last audition. The last audition, I was like, "That's it." Like another one slipped by. But a lot of time, for me, I've auditioned so many times now, like in consecutive order. I know how to kind of read a room a little bit and be like, okay, they're into it, I'm into it. Let's make this magic happen. But other times I look at a breakdown, and then before I even go in, I go, yeah, you think you want me to come in and play this? All right, it's your choice. It's like, you're gonna say no, and I'm gonna say no. So I'm not right for this. Like, come on. And then it usually is like, okay, yeah, you were right. You weren't right for this one. It's like, great. Let me go back to work now.
Speaking of that, Damon, your character is a football star who's also super handsome, a talented actor and singer.
Yeah.
Was it hard to step into the role of such a misfit?
You know, it's a stretch.
What do you think?
Being, I had to really do some surgery on the handsome part, it's honestly, I grew up in sports and football. I used to play football. So stepping into the character was actually quite easy because I could identify with him. I sang a little bit growing up and, started to do a play or two and while I was playing football and baseball and basketball. And then I found musical theater and I really had to make the decision, do I go with football, which is almost never going to happen because I'm little, or do I go into acting, which I've always had a passion for. I've always been pretty good at it, or just performing in general. And so I eventually was like, all right, well, I got to leave it behind. So I can really relate to this character because we have a lot of similarities.
What was it like to do the pep rally scene where you had to rap in front of all the kids?
Oh, that was pretty awesome. I think we all agree that was a
so
day.
fun day.
That was a
That
day.
So cool. First of all, we took over a school, which I think we apologized for numerous times, but the kids were amazing. And,
Yeah.
But yeah, you were awesome. He was killing it every single time, rapping it live.
Thank you.
So
it was a lot of fun. It was one of the I felt back in my element. I was like, oh yeah, just give me the mic and let me go. But I have to sing a little bit in it, so it was actually kind of rough on that part because that scene takes 8 to 10 hours to film.
Yeah.
So and I'm singing almost every time, so I had to really make sure that I was taking care of my voice, doing everything that I possibly could to make sure it stayed okay.
Yeah, what a lot of people don't realize about crowd scenes, like party scenes in movies or television, is that there's no music playing. It's kind of a silent situation. So these scenes where it looks so magical and amazing and all this stuff is happening and bands are playing, it's a pep rally. It's actually, that's not the sound that you're hearing.
It's almost entirely mimed. So you've got to keep your energy up when there's literally nothing happening.
No sound.
Yeah.
No sound.
Auli'i, your character, she's more of a person who might get bullied in school. Do you have advice for kids who are watching this show who might identify with that, the character that's a little bit, is looked down upon because of her family situation?
Yeah, I think in life we definitely have underdogs that kind of come to light. My character, Lilette Suarez, is definitely one of those. She's not one to be in the spotlight. She's a good girl in the sense that she does her work. She knows that the town she's in has nothing for her. Her family grew up in that town, and it's kind of expected that she does the same, that she grows up there, she'll work in the diner that she's worked at since she was a teenager, and, she'll just continue life, but that's not what she wants to do, and it's sometimes so hard to break the mold that others have put on you, especially when the mold is something that seems to have passed on through generations, from a grandmother to a mother to you. I mean, it's something that's almost, you don't think about it. You are your mother's daughter in some cases, but individuality is something that really shines through, and sometimes you need a guiding hand like the teacher in our show Rise. Just someone who will kind of pluck you from whatever circumstance it is and really encourage you to just be whoever that person really is. And only you can really figure that out, and it takes time and it takes perseverance and it takes that one individual, but when you got it, when you have the time and when you put in the effort, it's all worth it.
So the two of you have some on-screen chemistry. Do you feel it as well? Because I see it just by watching the show, and I know that there's a lot of cast and crew put into the show and editing to make this incredible chemistry between the two of you. But I assume that you feel it as well.
I mean, the editing is pretty good.
Right.
I won't say no or yes. But
Thank goodness for the editors.
Right.
'Cause
She's the worst.
no, he's fantastic. I think there's just a really good I don't have many good guy friends, just because I'm an only child, and thankfully you've met my mother. She's
I've met Mama.
yeah, but yeah, in that sense, I'm really grateful to have to have a co-star that I trust in that sense, where I've never played a character in this particular field. So.
And we all, like, now that we're, now that we've done more of the show, like we filmed more of the show, we've gotten to have a lot more encounters, just she and I. So we're, we have more time to talk, we have more time to, like, really kind of form a really close friendship, and it's really is, like, coming along.
Yeah.
And we only have, like, a month to shoot the pilot, so when, it's kind of hard to be like, hey, nice to meet you, we're going to be in love, so
Right.
now that the show is, like, moving along and we're kind of staying with it, it really is blossoming into a really pleasant friendship, I would say.
Oh, that's really sweet. So, what are your favorite musicals? I assume we're going to see some pretty amazing musical numbers over the next season.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to give away anything on this show, but personally, like,
Right.
what musicals do you love? Like, what's really spoken to you from an early age up until now?
Let them know.
A similarly early
Let
age.
them know, girl.
My favorite has always been In the Heights.
Oh,
Always been In
yeah.
the Heights.
Yeah.
Always been In the Heights. I love that. I'm Puerto Rican and Portuguese, so to see a Latin community come alive and to understand the struggles of. I grew up in a small town and in a small community where everyone knows everyone and everyone knows each other's business, and it's like I will be like one of the first individuals in my family, hopefully, to like go to college if it's in the future. And I understood the pressures of like Nina, and it was In the Heights.
In the Heights.
Have you been to Washington Heights?
I haven't. No.
Oh, you've got to
I'm
check
so
it out.
close.
Go to
I
Fort
know.
Tryon Park.
I know.
Look at the whole. It's the one neighborhood in New York City that doesn't have construction cranes. It's just solidly
true.
built, beautiful stone buildings.
That is true.
Yeah, it's cool.
I gotta
It's
go.
a great neighborhood.
I gotta go. What about you?
Mine is Avenue Q.
Nice.
It's always been Avenue Q. Since the day I saw it, it's been my favorite musical. I love it. I love it. I have posters. I have all the scripts, the librettos, the musical books, everything. I love that show so much. It is so funny and it's so brilliant. And it, I was like, this writer is brilliant. And then, 10 years later, he comes out with Frozen and wins his EGOT. So, like, it's a great musical, and he's a great writer, so.
Yeah. Are there any theater actors who you really looked up to? Did you see anybody and just say, oh, this is what I want to, this is how I want to shape my career?
You go first.
Yeah, definitely. Well, as a dancer, his name is Ryan Steele. He got his Broadway debut in West Side Story when he was like 19, and he's just an incredible dancer. And in high school, I looked up to him, and then Aaron Tveit his voice is just perfection. It's just perfection. So those two were like, I need to dance like him, I need to sing like him, and then I will have it made. I will be the perfect specimen of a robot. It'll be great. It will.
I've always really admired Adrian Brody as an actor, and then Audrey Hepburn.
Oh, yes.
Oh gosh, I mean, there's a grace and an elegance that Audrey possessed, and then Adrian Brody in The Pianist was just to evoke a pain that spanned across time, and even now can just reduce me to tears. He's one of my favorite actors.
Let's talk about your other cast members. Is there anybody who really surprised you with some like amazing skill when you were filming?
Oh.
Are there any of the other cast members who you're like, wow, I had no idea? I mean, obviously they're all talented singers.
Right.
I have a cast member. His name is Nacho.
Nacho.
The fact that his name is Nacho just blows me away.
That's a great name.
Amy Forsyth is an incredible singer.
Yeah, she is. She laid it down. She set it up. She just went in on one of the episodes, and everyone was like, "You better sing, girl. You better sing it out."
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, I'm going to do a quick 4-question question called
Okay,
First
yes.
Best, Last Worst.
Okay.
It's one of our
no.
THR things.
Okay.
First musical performance you fell in love with.
In the Heights.
Chorus line.
Nice. Best story from your musical theater backgrounds.
Best story from musical theater backgrounds.
Yeah.
Like
Just
our
like a
personal
story.
stories?
Yeah, like maybe a performance story or.
Oh, I've got one. It was my sophomore year of high school, and we were doing this song called Mama a Rainbow, and the teacher came out on stage, and he was like, we just have a little surprise for everybody, and we went around and said all of our moms' names, and literally as the song starts, I went, just like started bawling on, most of the people were crying, and all the moms were, just in tears, and I was like, just couldn't even get through the song. I was crying so bad. That's probably the funniest one for me.
I was part of like a choir, and we traveled at one point to California, and I got to work with Rollo Dilworth, who's an incredible composer, and so that was probably just, I haven't had much musical experience, so you know what, choir was great.
Last time you forgot your lyrics and how you covered it up.
What was that, episode 103? 102? 102?
One of them, when we were singing, it was literally on while we were filming. It was Word of Your Body.
Word of Your Body.
We were singing, and for some odd reason, I just couldn't get the lyrics down, and I messed up, and it ended up messing
Neither
her
one
up.
of us got it.
So we were literally like, I'm winning.
I don't
you're
know
bruising.
who's wounded. I
Somebody's
don't know.
wounded. And we didn't recover at all. It was so bad. It was just like,
Yeah. So recently.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
That's a
recently.
big fat cut from the director.
Yeah. And go again.
Yeah.
Worst on stage or on set accident.
Oh, the Oscars.
I was going to talk to you about that.
I've had an experience.
Do a lot of people talk to you about that?
Yes, it's my claim to fame, and I'm completely fine with it.
I loved it.
definitely asked
Okay,
about
tell everybody about it because
Okay.
I saw it, but a lot of people have probably passed them by.
So, I'm at rehearsal, right, for the Oscars, and we're like, it's going good, and then I get hit in the back of the head. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And I go back to them, like, that day, and I'm like, all right, so it sounded great, I'm sure you guys were really good, and, like, we were practicing all day, and I was like, but I got hit on the back of the head, and they're like, oh my God, I got checked out by EMTs, and they're like, okay, don't worry, this won't happen tomorrow, the day of the Oscars, when it's broadcasted live to millions of people.
Ew.
Moral of the story, it happened the next
It
day.
definitely happened.
You got hit on the back of the
Yes,
head. Yeah, it was just like a big
yeah.
prop that came.
No,
Close
it
to you, or
was a
like a
flag, and
swinging-
it was
Oh,
a
it's a flag.
flag that was
Right.
You don't need hand
Was it a
motions.
flag or a wing?
Wing.
There was like a thing going on.
It was supposed to replicate the ocean, and
Yeah.
yeah, I
it was
got
like
checked
some
out.
beautiful puppetry.
It was
Yeah.
lovely.
Gorgeous.
It was
I
very
loved
beautiful.
every one of the dancers.
That was the second time you had been
Correct.
hit on the back of the head.
Whoever it was, they're forever holding their peace, which is perfectly fine. It was. That's my onstage
Nobody
accident.
confessed.
No.
Nobody confessed. They're
No.
like, I'm not gonna.
Not the first day nor the second day.
Not gonna admit that I just knocked out Moana.
Probably a good idea.
Oh my God. Speaking of Moana, have you ever been recognized in a really strange way?
Yes, multiple times actually. When I'm in a grocery store, it always surprises me. Like I'm buying beans, or like sometimes I'm buying tampons, and it's just like, like people are like, "Oh my God, you're Moana," and I'm like, in this instance, can I say no? But yeah. Yeah. They're always very sweet about it. And I usually have to direct them like away from, the background of tampons before we take a picture.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
They're very
I
sweet.
speak to a lot of actors who have people come up to them and say, how do I know you?
Right.
And then you have to be like rattle off your entire resume to them.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
What? Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Well, I hope that nobody bothers you too much at the drugstore. Just a final wrap-up question. What are you looking forward for people to see, or do you want people to feel a certain way when they see Rise, or is there any like final thoughts on Rise and what hopes you have for it?
Well, Rise is exceptional in its writing, and I think it's just going to connect with so many people. We touch upon so many diverse backgrounds in a number of ways. I mean, I can't wait. It's written by Jason Katims as well, which Parenthood and Friday Night Lights, which means
I was going to say it reminds me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Break them out. Break out the tissue box.
I'm starting to think of NBC as the network that makes me cry into my
Oh,
iPad.
of course. On that, just.
that's fine. Yeah.
I hope that honestly, like, that people who didn't grow up in theater or who didn't really care for musicals or anything like that, I hope that they find a way to connect with this. Like, we can bring more of the non-theater nerds to this show and really find something that they connect with, and some of the people that, they just find the story close to their hearts as it is close to ours.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, that's lovely. And as young people, do you have any causes that you'd like to champion just right now?
At this moment, I am a full supporter of United for Puerto Rico, but at this very moment, I love, it's called, you go, because I'll remember it in just a second.
There's a couple of like different things. Of course, United for Puerto Rico. Also, Autism Speaks.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I really plan on getting heavily involved with. And then there was a local shelter back in my hometown called Noah's Bark that I want to like bring back. It was very heavily on like the pit bull community.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like the three things that I really want to. There's also PH Aware, which is a very, very good organization for pulmonary hypertension. They do a lot of great work with fundraising and trying to find a cure for this disease. So like there's a lot of different charities and organizations that I really want to be a part of.
And then the other one that I
Finally remembered.
Finally, it's Opening Act. Opening Act helps
yeah.
to include after-school programs, specifically like theater-based programs into schools that have low graduation rates, and it gives students a safe place to learn and to be after school and to do their work. And if they're interested in, pursuing college, then they'll help them with college applications. And it's just a really wonderful community to help and to support other children like me.
Fantastic. Damon and Auli'i, thank you so much for being here today. The show is Rise on NBC. Check it out.